I'm still devastated about that Game 7 loss last night to the Jets, and we need to talk, you and I. Let's get into it here on Locked On Blues.
Hey, this is Brayden Shen. Subscribe to Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor-Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today, Locked On Blues, it's going to be a therapy session Monday, as you and I, we're going to discuss what didn't go right, what went wrong in Game 7. Why does this one hurt so much? It stings, and I'll get more into that. And then finally, how to move on. And what does moving on mean? It means focusing on the draft. The Blues will pick at 19th overall. So again, last year, 16th overall, they were the best worst team, no playoff experience, and now they're 19th overall. So we'll dive into all of that. But listen, it sucks. I'm still upset. That's why it took me all day. But I want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. So when I came up with the topics for today's show, I wanted to talk about what didn't go right, because this has been a tendency that we saw with the Blues all season. Now, again, I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about the final couple minutes during this whole off season, and I cannot get into all of that right now because it hurts. But what I will say is that during the regular season, the Blues gave up 17 last-minute goals. 17. The Blues suck playing 6-on-5 hockey. Last night when Brayden Shen was asked about this, he didn't want to comment. Don't blame him on that one. And I think what didn't go right, too, was Bushi missing the empty net. He had time to control the puck, and he didn't, and he, in my opinion, panicked. And again, I'm not saying that could have been the determining factor, right? But if the Blues had a 3-goal lead, maybe something would have been different. But it wasn't. And I it's hard. It's hard to do a podcast. And it's hard to do it when you're feeling all the emotions. It is. I'll be honest with you. It's not easy to talk about last night's loss. Usually when my team loses, again, I didn't do this podcast the last time the Blues were in the playoffs. So this is my first time doing this podcast as the Blues are in the playoffs. And whenever my team loses, I feel like I can't talk. I feel like I am numb. And I have a job to do still. So that is why we're going to talk it all out. Is it going to help? Probably not. We're probably going to still feel that pain. But sometimes talking about what didn't go right makes us think about what solutions can this team figure out in the offseason to make sure that this doesn't happen again next year, because I do believe the Blues will be back in the playoffs. I do. Another problem that I saw in last night's game was the lack of shooting. You have an opportunity in overtime to win, to advance to the round 2 against the Dallas Stars, which I'm sure the Blues would have lost in that, to be honest. And they had, I believe, 4 shots on goal after the first overtime. It was a very low number. It was under 10. Here's the issue. You can't just play dump and chase and expect the puck to somehow go in the net. And what I mean by that is I didn't see enough offensive aggressiveness. People will say, Brayden Shen shouldn't be the 2C. He should be a 3C, a 4C. I don't believe a 4C at all, but all right, I can hear you, maybe a 3C, right? They can go out and get a better center, fine, or have one of the younger guys take that position. We all know how I feel about that one. I want that to happen, by the way. He is excellent at faceoffs. And I'm watching the game, and, I have my notes that I take down while watching the game. And one of the things I had was the Blues had plenty of opportunity in the offensive zone because of Shen and his ability to win the faceoffs. Now, again, the Blues played scared, and I find it just ironic, right? Because the Jets are missing some really good players. No Mark Scheifele, Josh Morrissey left the game early, and I could go on about different players, right? So the Blues had opportunity. The Jets only had 5 defensemen, and they were playing a lot of minutes, especially when it came to that double OT. Third longest game 7 in NHL history. Yeah. And I think for me, one thing that I wanted to see was players like a Robert Thomas shoot the puck and not just pass back and forth. I think that Robert Thomas is a very selfless player. And again, when it comes to exit interviews, I'm curious to what Thomas has to say on the season. But he had opportunity in the first OT. I cannot believe it was a double OT, but in the first OT, he had opportunity, and I believe that he passed to Cairo and it just went wide. When you're in a situation where all you need is one goal, you move on. You have to take those shots yourself. Colton Parayko, he is still a good player. What I will say is that I do think he was playing injured throughout the series. I don't think he was, even before the series when he first came back, I don't think he was ready. But again, the Blues don't really have that much depth when it comes to defense, so they definitely benefited with him, right? However, again, another thing that I'm curious about with the end of the season exit interviews, was he playing injured? And if so, what was his injury? The Blues need to move on from Nick Leddy and Justin Folk. It has been a problem all season. And last night's game, sloppy turnovers, bad positioning, gaps that led to Jets breakaways. It just was bad. And again, we're going to go over in more details, right, when the offseason progresses. Right now, I think that it's just important to talk about an overview of what didn't go right, right? Because there was things that went the right way, but I think that we're just trying to comprehend how did we get here, right? When there's a couple minutes left in a game 7, you're up by 2 goals. And unfortunately, the other team ties it with 1.7 seconds left. The biggest issue that resulted in the Jets having opportunity was the icing. That's not how you do it. You when you're up by 2 goals or even 1 goal at that point, and I'm talking more about the 1 goal, because again, nothing, the Blues suck 6-on-5, so right? So we all knew that was just a disaster. You need to kill the clock. Killing the clock, it's not the same. It's not logical. Like, this is why I think I'm confused. You have under 10 seconds, right? Or prior to that, actually. Let's go that. I believe it was around like 28 seconds. You have control of the puck, right? Instead of just shooting the puck down the ice, try to babysit the puck. Try to, pass it back and forth. Just anything. Hide behind the net, anything. Try to go down the ice, anything. Icing is a disaster because it stops the clock. The puck comes back in your defensive zone, and you give the other team an opportunity. Like, if I really don't understand that strategy, maybe that is not hockey. That's I mean, it's hockey, but it's bad hockey. So yeah, those were some of the things that went wrong. Obviously, a lot more did, and I'm still trying to process it. But again, like more thoughts coming to my head. But even in like double OT and OT, right? The Jets were playing like the same guys. Like they weren't really playing like their third and fourth liners that much. Again, Blues had opportunity, whatever. Connor Hellebuck, I still don't believe is as good as Jordan Binnington. Binnington's better. We'll get into a whole rant about that in another episode. Like we have a lot to talk about. Coming up, I'm going to talk to you about why this one hurts, because it's different, I think, for me than just losing a game. We'll explain. Anyways, Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you just stop managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and I save more. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money and use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. So last night's game, in total transparency, this one hurt the most. And I don't feel better now that it's the next day. If anything, I feel worse because of what I'm seeing on social media. What I'm seeing on social media is everyone and their mom, people that don't even like watch hockey that I know, posting about the game. So that doesn't help. But again, I think back to 2021, 2020, 22, right? The Blues, they won the first round against the Wild, and then they lost in this conference semifinals to the Avalanche. That hurt, but again, Blues only won 2 games. So it wasn't like, I don't know how to explain it. It just wasn't like crazy. Anyways, 2019, 2020, right? Year after we win the cup, we lose to the Canucks, right? Again, we only won 2 games. And that hurt, but again, I think because we just won the cup the year prior, it was kind of like, I don't want to say it was, Then I remember we got swept in 2021 by the Avalanche. Again, like the Avalanche just like did us dirty for a while. And why am I mentioning all this? Because again, brutal. But then we lost to San Jose in 2000 in a game 7, right? And you might be wondering, how old was I? I was 1. Why do I remember this? Because growing up, I always remember that series just had such a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And becoming a Blues fan, right? Because again, I was a kid. I was 1 year old. I always just got told it was just brutal. And I didn't think, honestly, I would have experienced what I experienced last night. I'm a fan first, podcaster second. That's what I always say. Yes, this is my job. But again, you can look back on my tapes. I've been talking about the Blues for years prior to this podcast, online at least. When we won the cup, I cried. And when we lost last night, I cried. And you might be saying, oh, that's soft, Haley. It's not. It's the way that they lost. I get emotional thinking about it now. I was recording myself, and you can see that video here on Locked On Blues on one of my shorts, thinking we have under 10 seconds. I want to capture the moment that we win. So I set up my little phone, right? I'm holding my cat. I'm so excited. I'm screaming for them to clear the puck, anything at that point. And you can see, I was actually showing my 89-year-old Grammy, but you can see me just standing there, like, yelling, like, clear the puck. And I look so optimistic. And the next second later, everything drains. I had a feeling once the Jets scored the tying goal with 1.7 seconds left that The odds of the Blues winning in overtime it felt slim. Not because I didn't believe in the Blues, but because all the momentum was on Winnipeg. And it was like a storybook for them, right? But is it though? And I think this is what bothers me. It's like every single person that's like a Jets fan, well, not every single one, but a lot of them, they're like, this is a team of destiny. You won the President's Trophy for having the most points in the season. Your goalie is a multi-time Vezina winning goalie. Like, it's not like it's not like the Jets weren't a good team. Like, they were the 1 seed playing against the 8th seed that went to a double OT. Now, like, give credit that if I wasn't a Blues fan and I was just a hockey fan, would have I thought that was a cool ending to a game? Sure. I can't even think that way. I get like upset. That was brutal. Worse than any breakup I've ever been through, honestly. Like, that really, like, I couldn't sleep. So, yeah. But the Jets fans are acting, and I get it, like, it was a comeback, whatever, but they're acting like they acted like they were the 8th seed. Your goalie had to be pulled 3 times against the Blues in St. Louis. I didn't see Jordan Binnington pulled once. Now, last night, every goal that the Jets scored was a deflection. And yes, one of them was off of Ryan Suter. I know. Like, every single time he plays, I tweet, I want a Suter goal, and that's not what I meant, and it was annoying. Jordan Binnington is an elite goalie. And I feel for him because he played phenomenal. Phenomenal. With the defense that he had in front of him, he played excellent hockey. Now we're getting to why this hurts. I began watching some of the Leafs Panthers, right, to, cheer on Craig Berube, Matthew Tkachuk, and seeing the Toronto Maple Leafs' blue sweaters, it just hit me watching that. We have no more Blues hockey, and the nightmare that we saw last night, it was a reality. It wasn't fake. I can't ignore it. It's not going to go away. It's a reality. 1.7 seconds. And I think about that a lot, right? How long is 1.7 seconds? Well, I'm glad that you asked me how long 1.7 seconds is. I did it today on the first try when I was like testing this out for a little bit of a content fun thing. But I want you right now, this is an activity for you. Okay, ready? I want you to tell me when to stop when I hit 1.7 seconds, right? So I'm going to have my phone out. I'm going to press stop. And if you're listening, I'll do a countdown to 3, 2, 1. And you're going to tell me when to stop. And we're going to see how long 1.7 seconds really is. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that was 2 seconds. Let me go do it again. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I didn't stop it on time. But again, that was like 2 seconds. And then one last time. 3, 2, 1. 1.5. So a little bit. But it's not a lot. It's not a lot. And doing that today, I somehow got on the first try. Again, like it wasn't even on camera. But it just hit me like it's like a snap. It's like a exhale. 1.7 seconds. That's all it took. And if you think about it with the icing, if they just held onto the puck a little bit longer, and that's what's going to hurt. It's all the what ifs. What if they did this? What if they did that? What if Bush got the empty netter? Like, and I'm not blaming Bush, by the way. I'm not. But you still sometimes go there of the what ifs. And I think it's going to take some time. Again, I have not slept since the game. That's why there's bags under my eyes. But I want to talk to you about how do we move on? How do we feel better? Can we feel better? And answer some of your questions and thoughts. But Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives you business flexibility by connecting them with a top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. Finding the right talent. If you need help with a marketing campaign, Upwork can connect you with a freelance expert who is going to deliver incredible results. It's fast and easy, it's free and simple, and within a day, multiple qualified candidates to choose from. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. And that's Upwork, UPWORK.com, Upwork.com to connect with top talent and to grow your business today. So, the one thing I've been thinking of is how am I going to move on from this? This hurts. What do I have to look forward to? And it does hurt. And you can tell, like, I'm just distraught, honestly. I'm excited about Coach Montgomery having a full season with this team. You know, during his pregame speech, the Blues posted it, obviously, after I did my first episode before the game. And he said, nobody expects you guys to be here besides all of us here in the locker room. And it hit me. He installed confidence within this team. And hopefully, with the moves that are made this offseason, there's going to be more talent, more younger talent, and more speed, just everything, right, that he's going to be able to work with. But even after the game, Mounty's a great coach, and everything that he said just made me more excited about him. The younger guys, obviously, Snuggerud scored a couple goals in this series, and I can't help but smile when I think of Jimmy Snuggerud, right? So again, excited about him, Zach Bolduc, Thomas. We need answers on Dylan Holloway, officially. I see speculations on social media, but I need answers on Dylan Holloway from the Blues. But again, he's someone who excites me. Binnington, obviously. Jordan Binnington always makes me feel good. But I can't say I'm excited for the draft. We're 19th overall. I guess the one way to look at it is we were 16th overall last year, and we had no playoff experience, and now we're 19th overall and we had playoff experience. Like, sure, that's optimistic. But no, I'm not like excited for the draft. And finally, I feel like this could be good motivation. Now, obviously, I'm not like I'm not thinking to myself by any means, oh, this was good. I'm glad this. No, I'm not happy this happened. Like, this sucks. Like, I'm crushed. I'm devastated. And it wasn't about me. Obviously, the goal is to win the Stanley Cup, right? But that's not like, it's weird. Like, I'm not even like upset about that, and because I figured all along we weren't going to win the cup. It's the fact that they were 1.7 seconds away from advancing. That's what gets me. Okay. But obviously on social media, I posted on Locked On Blues, and that is LOCKED, ONBLUS, Locked On Blues. I was crashing out. I was crashing out on social media because I was just posting about how upset I am, right? I'm still upset. But I said, Reaction Monday, we need to have a therapy session about last night's game. Share your thoughts below. St. Louis Arena tweeted, darkness imprisoning me. All that I see, absolute horror. I cannot live. I cannot die. Trapped in my body. Trapped in myself body. My holding cell. Essentially, yeah. Rusk said, I'm eating a lot of hot tamales, and that's a joke that him and I have up in the press box, so that was funny. Brennan said, the last 2 months have been the most fun I've had watching hockey in a long time. To be able to witness 14 out of 15 of the home win streak in person was something special. The way we lost last night really hurts, though. I wish we'd have just gotten blown out. Yeah, I hear you. So cool. I need to get down to games. It's so hard for me with travel. That's why I see them a lot when they come up here. Matisse said, I like to say this team ran out of gas and we were exhausted, but the Jets played with only 5 defensemen from the first period on and played the same amount of games that we have. And that's what I was saying earlier in the episode. The way we lost was just devastating. One of the worst blown leads I've seen. In the offseason, this has to be fixed because I've watched this team give up pulled goalie goals way too many times this year. All in all, so thankful for the fun season. Sums it up well. Big Bill says, definitely hurts and stings, but the future is bright. Last night, especially after a full offseason and having a full season of Mounty, Dvorsky, Snuggie, and the young guys coming in soon. I can't wait to see what Armeenstein does. Let's go Blues. Bob said, if the Jets win the cup, I'm going to be sick. I think it's me Dallas in 4, honestly. Benji said, I felt worse after Game 5 than I did after the end of Game 7. Game 5, they showed no heart, no hustle. It was not the team we saw during the stretch. Game 7 gave, but it just wasn't good enough to win. I'm over it now, and this team will be contending soon. Oh, I guess he's a Stars fan. Bias Blues fan, I love that name, by the way, said, I feel like my dog died or something this morning. Most sad and confused I've ever been for a game. I'm a lot better now, left with some funny hockey memes, and life goes on. Bright future ahead. My issue is that, like, I take this, like, super, like, to heart, right? After the lottery, I'm watching the draft lottery, they showed, I would like to say, the most heartbreaking moment for me, which might be the most exciting moment for Jets fans. And I had to turn my TV off. I put golf on instead. Like, this hurts. It stings. It's devastating. Like, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. It just sucks. So we'll talk more tomorrow. Again, we're gonna break down every single player. Obviously, we have the exit interviews. We have a lot of things that we're gonna discuss. Draft prospects as well, because again, we still have a draft pick in the first round, so we're gonna obviously touch on that. But we have a lot to digest, to process, and we're going to do a series recap because there were some really good positives from the series as well. Yeah. Okay. I don't know how to end this because I'm so upset. But like always, I love this team. And hold on, one last thing. For me and for you, I'm sure, because the Blues fans were the most like diehard fans out here, I believe. Honest opinion. The season begins with the draft, right? So draft in June. July is rookie training camp. Late August, early September, it's actual training camp. Well, it's like rookie development camp. That's what I meant, in July, right? Training camp, September preseason, October regular season, January hockey, February hockey, March hockey, April hockey, May. I mean, we did play in May, so like I'll give them that. Hockey / potential off season, and then it goes all over again. So it's a full calendar year, and I'm just like actually devastated. All right, I'm gonna go before I begin crashing out again, and because I did a 42-minute live stream after the game yesterday, and my buddies that do like the podcast and stuff, they're like, "Are you okay?" Like, and I'm like, "No." I went into work this morning, and my coworkers looked at me, and they're gonna like make a couple of jokes about the game last night, just because like they know how much like I literally love this team, and I like was not having it. So it's not just hockey. It's really not. It's my passion. It's my livelihood. Um, it's what's my community. It's my friends. Like it's everything to me. The Blues are my everything. So all right. All right. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And like always, let's go Blues.